We need the Saskatchewan government to step in and fire the Regina Public School Board. By the time I'm done telling you why, I know you're going to want to go to firetheschoolboard.com and sign our petition. But first, the details.
We passed the Parents' Bill of Rights to protect the rights of Saskatchewan parents to be involved in all important decisions regarding their children's education. The right really for parents, the right, and I would say the right, not the opportunity to be involved in their child's education and their child's life. And it was also identified that at some point in the future there could be the collision of these charter protected rights and other rights that are important to Saskatchewan residents and to Canadian residents as well. And when those rights collide, the notwithstanding clause was provided to ensure that the elected government of the day would be able to make the decision on as to which of those rights would be in effect for the people that they ultimately represent. And in this case, that's the rights of a parent to ensure they're involved in their children's decision, bring our parents closer to our children's classrooms, schools, and ultimately make for a more reactionary and more responsive education system.
The Office of the Information and Privacy Commissioner of Saskatchewan has just dropped a bombshell, a scathing 73-page report that exposes Regina Public Schools' desperate attempts to dodge accountability. I'm Lise Merle with Rebel News, and as a parent of 4 kids in their system, I'm the one that filed that access to information request that led to this reckoning. What the commissioner uncovered is nothing short of egregious. Regina Public Schools tried to bury their shady dealings by slapping me with a $29,270 fee estimate for my request. But what were they trying to hide? Let's expose one of the most shocking revelations, an email that shows the school division actively scheming against parents. In recently uncovered emails dating back to August 2023, Kyla Christensen, a Regina Public Schools employee in the DEI office, sent an email to the federally funded gender activist group Wisdom to Action, owned by infamous trans activist Faye Johnstone, proudly outlining Kyla's collaboration with Dr. McNinch, the former Dean of Education at the University of Regina, and even more shockingly, with Bishop Carla Blakely, a radical gender-affirming United Church pastor who also happens to be the wife of NDP MLA Brent Blakely. In the email, Christensen reveals they're working closely to support school divisions in their DEI efforts, specifically strategizing against parental pushback as it pertains to radical gender ideology. On August 24th, Alex Tesselin of Wisdom to Action wrote, "Hi Kyla, I'm a project officer with Wisdom to Action and have been working with the Canadian Centre for Gender and Sexual Diversity on the Not Just the Tip project. We're currently developing a new section of the Going Further module focused on navigating pushback from parents and administrators. In developing this section, we're hoping to connect with someone who works in the school board's equity office to gain a clearer understanding of some of the best practices for handling complaints and when to get the teachers' unions involved. We're curious if you have any connections or anyone working in the equity office or similar role who may be able to support us in drafting this section of the toolkit. Best, Alex." Kyla Christensen of Regina Public Schools replies, "Hi, I work in the DEI office, and I work with Dr. McNinch, former Dean of Ed at U of R, and Pastor Carla Blakely, First Affirming Church in Regina, quite closely as we support school divisions and communities in their DEI work. Some of our work is strategizing against parental pushback. Do you want to meet the 3 of us?" That's right. Regina Public Schools was preemptively plotting against parents who might resist their agenda. The email even asks, "Do you want to meet the 3 of us?" as if moonlighting on behalf of Wisdom to Action or this collaboration is something to celebrate. This is an outrageous betrayal of trust. Regina Public Schools, a publicly funded institution, is working with a federally funded radical gender activist and a non-secular, gender-affirming pastor to push an ideological agenda on students while deliberately planning to undermine parents. This isn't inclusion, it's coercion and exclusion, and it violates multiple legal and ethical standards. First, this action likely breaches parental rights under the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms, specifically Section 7, which protects the right to liberty, including the fundamental right of parents to make decisions about their children's upbringing, education, and moral values. By imposing a gender-affirming framework and strategizing against parental dissent, Regina Public Schools is stripping parents of their charter-protected role in their children's own lives. Second, this violates the Saskatchewan Human Rights Code, which prohibits discrimination based on the protected ground of family status. By targeting parents who may oppose their DEI initiatives, Regina Public Schools is discriminating against families who hold different beliefs, effectively punishing them for their family status and values. Third, the Saskatchewan Education Act mandates that school boards provide a neutral, inclusive environment focused on education, not ideological conformity. Section 141 of the Act requires boards act in the best interest of students and their families, not to collude with external activists to push a specific agenda. By drawing a taxpayer-funded paycheck while working for Wisdom to Action and bringing in a rainbow pastor, both possessing clear ideological slants, Regina Public Schools is failing to maintain the secular, impartial environment required by law. Finally, this conduct contravenes the Saskatchewan School Boards Association Governance Handbook, which outlines the ethical responsibilities of school boards. Section 3.2 of the handbook emphasizes that boards must act with transparency, accountability, and respect for the rights of parents and the community. Strategizing against parents with federally funded gender activists and a radical gender-affirming pastor is the opposite of transparent governance. It's secretive, manipulative, and outright harmful to the families the board is supposed to serve. The handbook also stresses in Section 4.1 that boards must prioritize the best interests of students, not ideological crusades. And in Section 5.3, it mandates meaningful consultation with parents, not schemes to suppress their voices. The Privacy Commissioner's report makes it clear that Regina Public Schools' $29,270 fee estimate was a stalling tactic to avoid transparency. The Commissioner called their response a deemed refusal, slamming their lazy approach and nullifying the fee because they blew past the 30-day deadline mandated by the Local Authority Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act, or LAFOIP. Regina Public School Division claimed my request was complex, but the commissioner said it should have taken them 3 to 5 days, not the 54 days they dragged out. They even tried to hide 1,578 pages behind solicitor-client privilege and other flimsy exemptions, but the commissioner found no justification for their secrecy. Now they owe me thousands of additional pages for free, thank you very much, because of their reckless evasion. What Regina Public Schools was trying to hide is now crystal clear. They're more interested in their self-preservation than in educating our kids or respecting our rights as parents. This isn't just a failure of leadership. It's systemic dysfunction that demands action. The Regina Public School Division has devolved into a dysfunctional institution that flouts parental rights laws, provincial laws, and ethical governance. It's time for the Government of Saskatchewan and Education Minister Everett Hindley to step in and disband this off-the-rails school division. By imposing a non-secular, gender-affirming pastor and scheming against parents, Regina Public Schools has betrayed the trust of families and taxpayers alike. This isn't what education should look like in Saskatchewan. I'm calling on every concerned parent, taxpayer, and citizen to join me in demanding accountability. Visit firetheschoolboard.com, that's firetheschoolboard.com, to send a clear message to Minister Hindley. Dissolve Regina Public Schools and restore integrity to our education system, or risk being labeled the handmaidens of the Saskatchewan NDP. If we let this slide, it'll set a dangerous precedent for school boards across the entire province and indeed the nation of Canada. Let's stand up for transparency, parental rights, and the rule of law. Go to firetheschoolboard.com right now and let's make sure Minister Hindley hears us loud and clear. This fight is far from over, but with the Commissioner's report in hand and thousands of more pages on the way, we're closer than ever to exposing the full extent of Regina Public Schools' gross misconduct. I'm Lise Merle with Rebel News. Stay tuned as we keep pushing for the truth and thanks so much for watching.